which is Austin, Texas. Are there any Texans in the room? Let me say a personal thank you to you, because as you know, back in November, for the third time in 10 years, the people of Texas were kind enough to send a bald-headed guy that normally wears bow ties and cowboy boots around the of Texas, and so I thank you. And I continually thank the person who made it possible for me to be a member of the commission in the first place. As was mentioned, he used to be the governor of the state of Texas. He's formerly the president of the United States, my good friend, and hopefully yours, George W. Bush. And eventually, while I was successfully run for statewide office 3 times, the first time I put my name on the ballot was 25 years ago. I ran for a little local office in my hometown in Midland, Texas, and I did have a good campaign manager. His name was George W. Bush. And we got stumped in the Republican presidential. So that's why I went up to Washington and worked for President Reagan and then the first President Bush. And so I continue to thank my good friend for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of Texas. And it's good to be here. You know, somebody once asked Alex Hayes, Mr. Haley, what gave you the inspiration to write Roots? He says, when you go about your business each and every day, you should find something good and praise it. And so I came here to praise the good that you're doing, whether you're tweeting and blogging and calling and talking about conservative values. I came to praise the good of folks who know that they were created in the image of God. Amen. And endowed for His work with the values and rights. And then you recognize that you loan those rights to government. And that's why government's powers and the proper role is limited. And you also know that when you loan it and they don't do with it what they should, it's time for you to call the bill. And my friends, I want to visit with you about a little bit about the past, but a whole lot about the future. In the past, I want to take you back. How many of you were either in St. Paul back in around Labor Day last year, a couple of years ago, and they're at the Republican National Convention, or maybe you watched it on TV. You might remember a Wednesday evening when I had the opportunity to stand in the middle of that basketball arena and be the one person in this country that had the distinct honor to place in nomination the name of John McCain to be President of the United States. You might also remember that I went to the podium several hours earlier and had a chance to visit with the American people. And they made me stand behind the podium, which you can tell I don't like to do. And I visited with him that evening. You might remember I said that he was prepared to be President of the United States because he knew in the core of his soul that life begins at conception. Said that he wanted to win the war against terror, not simply end it. And had enough sense to say that you don't raise taxes in the middle of recession. But perhaps more importantly, that he knew that if you wanted to put some sizzle in the steak, you run with a Republican woman with 5 minutes in a day. We left St. Paul, and we were buoyed. We knew that our time was still coming. But more than half of American people disagreed with us, and there may be a couple of reasons for it. Some people said that our brand had gotten too old. We'd had the White House for 8 years. We stayed in the control of the Congress for a dozen. Some folks said that our brand had been unpredictable and stable. That so many of us that elected had learned the mantra of smaller government and less taxes and limited government, pro-faith and family, but our rhetoric did not meet our record. Some folks said on some issues, you guys just too new. Whatever the reason is, somebody else is in the White House today. And you know, so many of us probably on inauguration day said, how much damage can a man do in 4 years? And now you know what you can do in just 6 months. I mean, you think about, became president and shortly thereafter reversed the Bush executive order so that now your tax dollars are paying for abortions overseas. Yep. Said that he was going to, release the folks from getting on and had not even a clue about what he's going to do with it. And so many other things, whether it's guns, or as Ken mentioned, whether it's card check, whatever. Well, my friends, we have an opportunity to turn things around. You know, our senior senator has said that she is going to come home and run for governor. Said she may do so, and may actually resign sometime between October and November of this year. It is very, very possible that within the next 75 days, Texas will have a new United States Senator. And as I go around the state, and I'm sure as I probably go around your states, people are telling me what I'm sure you're telling candidates everywhere. You're looking for something very, very special. You're looking for someone who is a consistent, principled conservative. Someone who has the courage to stand up to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. Someone who won't be seduced by the Washington Post and the New York Times and even the K Street lobby. And somebody who, quite frankly, can rally the American people around the next generation of conservative principles and solutions to provide more freedom, opportunity, prosperity, and a real sense of community. You've heard the President say he was for hope and change. We just hope he changes. And the reason we hope he changes is because there's so much we've got to do. Think about it. Everybody walked in the front door of that hotel and you were concerned about spending. And you know the numbers as well as I do. You were concerned about the fact that every day in America, about 19,000 new Americans are born in this country. And what do their parents get? They get a birth certificate in one hand and they get a federal deficit bill of about $30,000 in the other. Yeah, that's right. You know, my grandfather was born in the segregated South as a poor man, became a fairly successful entrepreneur, sent his 2 children off to college, and they both got graduate degrees. And my grandfather invested in his kids, his grandkids, and his great-grandkids. And how sickened he would be today to see the generational theft that's going on. But my friends, we can cut federal spending, and we can bring transparency to earmarks, and we can provide limits to the growth of further spending. But you've got to do it with true conservatives. And we've got to go about the business, quite frankly, of ending the bailouts and the move towards increasing SARs that are, quite frankly, not confirmed by the Senate, and this slide towards European-style socialism. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I called it what it was. My friends, my school teaching parents, every 4 or 5 years, would buy a Chrysler. More times than not, it was a New Yorker. Until my senior in high school, when my mother bought a Firebird. But you know, every couple of years they bought a Chrysler. I never thought we'd own Chrysler. You did. But now we do. And it's time to sell it back to shareholders. My friends, and you know what the kind of deficit that's being created. And you know the numbers. This president is spending greater than every president, the debt greater than every president from George Washington to George W. Bush combined. Congressional Budget Office says by 2019, the debt will be 82% of GDP. And you know somebody on the other side is going to say, in order to close that deficit, what do we have to do? Raise taxes. And you and I know what we need to do is to remind Americans of the lesson of 1920, 1960, 1980, and 2000. 1920 with President Coolidge. 1960, JFK.